Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. We have another great double dip today on the show. We're going to be talking a little bit with Kristi Plante coming up. If you don't know already, the 2026 World Junior Championships are coming to Minnesota, and Kristi is spearheading the Hockey Mom All-Star Challenge. And if that name sounds familiar, her husband, Derek Plante, we know, former NHLer, also in the Duluth Athletic Hall of Fame, but so is Kristi. She played basketball and softball for the Bulldogs, also in the Hall of Fame. Plus, they have 3 sons that play hockey. So we've got a lot of hockey talk and World Juniors coming up. But first, we're going to welcome back Lea B. Olsen. We are still talking victorious Lynx, moving on to the next round. They're now facing the Phoenix Mercury. And for anyone that's listening, this is now a 5-game series, and then they'll move to 7 if they move on to the finals. But Lea, I know everyone was saying, oh, is it going to be Phoenix? Is it going to be New York? A lot of people wanted New York. I personally wanted Phoenix, so I'm happy for this matchup. How are you feeling since you're really into this? Was this the matchup you wanted, or were you hoping for New York? What are your feelings on all this?
Well, it is pretty exciting that at this point in the season, we're kind of trying to figure out which team is it going to be, because at the start of the season, it really looked like it was going to be New York and us battling. And I think everyone was anxiously awaiting that rematch. But then during the regular season, as the Lynx kind of just handled New York in the regular season, I think that kind of, put that to bed a little bit for Lynx fans. Like this Liberty team was pretty beaten down this year. They were kind of a shell of themselves, in my opinion, of what they had been the previous year. Phoenix, I think, is super intriguing because we never saw this Phoenix team healthy during the regular season. And I remember doing the broadcast thinking, wow, what is this team going to look like when they're healthy? And so, Don, I think you're right in that this is a great matchup. They just have classically good athletic players, and they've gotten better throughout the season. So it's going to be a really fun matchup to watch.
No doubt about it. Alyssa Thomas is just an amazing player to watch. She's just, she has a funky shot because of her injury, but she just always finds a way. I mean, the cliche is she's a walking triple-double. The cliche is true. She's a walking triple-double.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting about her. I'm always curious about that stat because there's when players in the WNBA and NBA have that stat, it's like what allows a player to get that, and she's just so versatile. And unfortunately, a lot of those triple doubles have come against Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
But the other piece of Alyssa Thomas is she's really relentless. Just kind of doggedly will continue to go at you. And her physicality is going to be an issue for Minnesota. She's going to bang and just push and do whatever she has to do. And I think that matchup between her and Napheesa Collier is going to be one of the more intriguing ones to watch throughout the playoffs.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I don't know about you. I love A'ja Wilson. I do, but I'm still a little sad that Fee did not get the MVP. And I think that this is going to fire her up because we all know that she's coming off being the Defensive Player of the Year last year. And to have this matchup with Thomas, I think we're going to see, if it's even possible, an even more fired up, angry type player, even though she's so calm, cool, and collected underneath when it comes to Fee in this round. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think Fee is. I mean, she got my vote for MVP. I thought she was the best player all season long on the best team, and her consistency, the 50-40-90 number, of course, is just ridiculous. So there's no doubt in my mind. I get it. I get why people voted for A'ja. So I do think it was a toss-up. I didn't want it to be close because I understood that if it was close, I think just in the way that Asia plays, the way that how she dominates a game with her, just her physicality, her stature, just how she is, it makes you see her at all times in a game. Where Fee is such a finesse player that sometimes you'll get the box score at the end of a game and you'll look at it and go, wait a minute, she dominated in every single area. I didn't even notice that. So they just kind of have different styles. And I think that hurts Nafisa a lot of the times. So will she come out and be simply outstanding? Yes, because she always is. And she just kind of does it in her own way of that kind of calm, cool, collected piece that I just think is so cool because you can't rattle her. And if you just see her in any game, you can't speed her up. And I think it's a quality that is pretty unique to an elite player.
I feel like Asia won because they both you could make a case for either. Obviously wrote about the fact that I think it should have been Nafisa because the 90-50-40, that by far the best player on by far the best team. I just think it all speaks to being more valuable. I think what hurt her was when people started thinking about the MVP award. Fee had an injury. She was playing in games that didn't matter much. The Lynx were resting, and Asia went on this tear. I think if you look at the season as a whole, it's hard for me to think of anybody more valuable than Fee in this league. But I think the timing was bad for her.
Yeah, it really was. And there's the argument of how many games can you miss and still be an MVP. And if she would have won it, I believe she would have missed more than anybody else has missed. So that was definitely one of the reasons that people use to select Asia. And you're right that I knew that game that the Lynx played Vegas and Asia had that huge game, like 37 points, and they won the game and Fee got injured. Fee didn't get injured. But it was all of a sudden you could see that Asia was taking that award back. And I felt like that was the pivotal game that kind of had everyone going, Asia's back. Fee, I just think Fee's that player where her biggest goal really is to get the championship. And that has been what we've all been wanting for her, Kayla McBride, all these amazing players who are so good at the top of their games, but still need that chip to say that they're one of the greatest. But, I felt a little bad for Nafisa as well, just because to have a season like this and not win it is a bit disappointing.
Well, we can celebrate the fact that Alana Smith did get Defensive Player of the Year, and I think that is well earned. And talk about another player that sometimes doesn't get the kudos for the type of game that she plays, and finally getting some real notoriety this season for her defense. I was just really happy to see that, and they're going to need her in this round.
Yeah, it's really cool. This is, again, where I think Coach Reeve has been such an excellent coach, because certain players play better under her. And Alana Smith is one of those players that she just continues to get better. And she does it in a really nuanced way, and that she's just super smart, is always in the right place. And her ability to get those blocks is because she's reading the defense so well on that backside. And she's coming over and she's like, she's going away from her player to get the block usually, and trusting her teammates to back her up. So it's that ability for a player just to be super smart in the moment. And then, she's long, even though she tends to be undersized at the 5. She is long and athletic. And so I just thought that was a huge recognition for her this year, for people to see her with Asia Wilson as a top defensive player in the league. I just think that's really great for her career, for the W, and obviously for the Lynx.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, give us a final thought here, Leah, on just where these playoffs are headed, and what you think the end result of this series will be.
I think this is going to be a really good battle with Phoenix. They're going to have to try and still steal one from Minnesota. probably on the second game tonight, because what's hard about this Phoenix team is that they don't always have enough scoring. And you could really see that in this game against Minnesota, as they were having a hard time figure out how they were going to get scoring. And I think they had I think they had 4 players in double figures. I think they're going to have to consistently get that to be able to overcome this really good Lynx team. But I do think they are going to get a game on Minnesota. So I'm thinking we're going to see, this thing could go 5, just because how the playoffs go and just how tough everyone plays. And I think we saw in that first game that level of play kind of ratcheted up to the next level. But, expect Alyssa Thomas and Kalia Copper and Satu Sabali and the crew to come out ready to roll here at Target Center on Tuesday night.
Yeah, well, I am certainly loving this second round already. We're just going to get deeper and deeper into it. I'm not going to look too far ahead, but I'm hoping for a 7er on the other side of this one. But Lea, thank you so much for breaking things down for us. And, hopefully it won't go all the way to 5. Let's just put it this way, in the Lynx favor. So, best of luck too, right?
It's going to be a blast. Thanks so much for letting me come on and talk Lynx, my favorite thing, and go Lynx. I think it's going to be a good one.
It's great It's great to have Lea contributing to the show. Thank you so much, Lea. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. See you guys later.
Thanks. And let's introduce the show. This is Dawn of Sports, Dawn Mitchell. I'm Jim Suhan from TalkNorth.com and the Star Tribune. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio. Next, we have Kristi Plante coming up, as Dawn mentioned. Great interview with her. Let's take care of the business, though. Let's thank Lexus, Wayzata, and Maplewood. And let's also thank Minnesota Masonic Charities.
Today, I want to talk a little bit about the Minnesota Masonic Charities. When you think about the Masons, I get it. You think about the funny hats, those pancake breakfasts, which are phenomenal. But my dear friend John Schweitz and I have chatted about this, and it's so much more than that. They've got the Masonic home over in Bloomington. They've got the hospital for the children over at the U of M. They are the largest fraternal organization in terms of charitable needs in our country, and they deserve a ton of recognition. So thank you, Minnesota Masonic Charities, for all you do and for supporting us over here at Talk North, and a special thanks to my good friend, John Schweitz.
Hey everyone, John Krasinski here to celebrate with you that football season is finally upon us. Join me on the Viking Update Show for all the latest action, insights, and stories from the field. Jim Suhan and I will have everything you need on our podcast on the Talk North Podcast Network.
And now here's Dawn with Kristi Plante.
Well, as promised, we have Kristi Plante on our podcast today. And if you're a UMD fan and a women's sports fan, you might know her as Kristi Duncan Plante. But we are talking today not only about Kristi as an athlete, but also as a hockey mom. We got lots to dive into. Kristi, thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So first, let's talk about what's going on now. As a hockey mom, we all know that coming up is the 2026 IAHF. We love the World Juniors, and the championships are coming here to Minnesota. Your son owns a gold medal, Max, one of your 3, a gold medal already when it comes to World Juniors, and now it's coming home here. How excited are you for this?
It's very exciting, very exciting. And it's the 50th anniversary of the World Juniors. So exciting that Minnesota's hosting it. Exciting for the Minnesotans that are going to be able to try out for the team and just maybe play in front of some home rambunctious, excited, crazy fans would be exciting.
Oh my goodness. Now, you don't know much about me, perhaps. I'm a huge hockey fan. I'm so excited for this. Love the World Juniors. I've had some friends that have coached it, and just can't wait for it to come here. It's coming December 26th through January 5th. But what I want to talk with you about as well is the Hockey Mom All-Star Challenge. And first of all, I can't love this enough. My friend Vanita Sakhar is a hockey mom. She is on CCO radio. I have friends back east that have been like 4-time hockey moms. I know you're a 3-time hockey mom, and of course your husband Derek, UMD fame, NHL fame. You are versed in all things hockey. Hockey wife, hockey mom. Oh my gosh, hockey, hockey, hockey. What is this Mom All-Star Challenge that you guys are doing? It sounds fascinating.
Well, it's like you said, it's the hockey all or it's the All-Star Hockey Mom Challenge. And it's basically just to bring light how much goes in behind the scenes when you have someone that plays hockey from all different ages, from youth on up, how much goes into it. And it's not necessarily, the wife, the hockey mom, and the wife gets the title, but I mean, it really can be anyone that helps get the hockey player out on the ice. Because there's just so much involved. And as you said, you're a huge fan and love the sport. And it's just kind of something that once your kids start, you can't help but not embrace it. And if you don't embrace it, then it's actually too bad, because there's so much part of it. It's so huge part of Minnesota and growing up north that goes into it. And we're just trying to honor and bring stories and bring excitement and just kind of reminisce like old time of, just for all people that have gone through it. Bring back all those fun memories of things that has happened and done. And, we just love to kind of embrace the fact that it takes a lot, but if you enjoy it, and just to kind of talk about it and bring it to light for the World Juniors.
I love that, because it takes a village. Like you said, it's not just the moms, it takes the whole family, and it takes a lot of caffeine. And if you're not into caffeine, Diet Coke, whatever it takes to get those kids on the ice, right?
Yes, I remember when they first started and like the kids were little, and all of a sudden we had a tournament, and it's a Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and they said 8 a.m. game. I'm like, what? And so it's all hours, because you're up late trying to prep and get ready, but then to get to the rink, to get them to get young kids out on the ice by 8 a.m. is a challenge. But if we embrace it, it's kind of fun. So yes, it does. It definitely takes a village from, friends, family, and just the whole community. It's just fun when it gets embraced.
And let me tell everyone that's listening, first of all, you live it. This is your life. All 3 of your sons, Max, Zam, and Victor, congrats, are all playing or have played also at UMD, following in the footsteps of mom and dad going to UMD. Bulldog heaven over at your house. So it's not like, okay, the kids are like now in high school, I don't have to deal with it. It was just when they were little. Like, you're still living it, aren't you?
Yeah, we're still living. I only have 2 at UMD right now. I still have one that's senior, but he's hoping to get there sooner than later. But yes, we're still living it. It's different. Obviously, when the older they get, you kind of hope that you lay the the groundwork, that they know what to do when they get to the higher levels. It's actually can be a little bit more enjoyable, because you don't have to get them to the rink the 2 hours prior. We get to show up maybe 2 hours prior and just get to enjoy the process at that point too. But doesn't take away from the nerves and the excitement that as well. But yes, we're still living it every day. My kids are actually not living with me at home, but I got home from a trip, trying to follow my younger one out east. And so yeah, we are still, and then just planning. It's kind of like getting for the weekend. What do we have on tap coming up, and where do we have to be? And just because as an athlete, as my parents were huge supporters, not necessarily as vocal, but just being there. And I'm realizing that how much I appreciated my parents knowing that they're in the stands. Now I want to give back to my kids that way. They might be playing, at a higher level, but I think they still look for us and know where we're at up there, knowing that we got their back and just there to help them and support them any way we can.
And I just to clarify for people who are listening, when you talk about higher level, sometimes when you're on the national team, you have to move away from home, and or once you get into those pipelines of higher level of hockey, so they go and live with billet families. That's why I'm assuming they're not at home. How hard is that too on families? And that's kind of like a hockey thing. You have to watch your young kids go elsewhere. I think listening to Marc-Andre Fleury, he left his first home when he was like 14, and he said, I really didn't really know English. I had to move to a different home. I was young. And he goes, and I just remember, I think he was in Nova Scotia or PEI. He goes, and his billet mom is still kind of like a mom to him. It's like, you've got that smile, Marc-Andre, just smile. And he still smiles to this day because of it. Like it's a part of the hockey life that as a mom and a dad too, but as a mom, that's got to be so hard to watch them grow and let them spread their wings, so to speak.
Yes, it is. My oldest was, he was 16 when the first time he went and got to stay with what we would call the billet family.
Mm-hmm.
And we were very, very fortunate with who he ended up with. And ironically, it was their first up chance as well. And so we were learning together. But yeah, you're giving them your baby, and you hope that whoever volunteers for these positions is in it for the right reasons. And we've been very, very fortunate. We still, so I mean, he's 5 years later, and we still connect every other week actually with his first family, just from feeding them, apologizing because you feel like you haven't trained them in all the at-home tasks. So you hope that they can help out that way. And we've been blessed with, actually all three of mine, yes, have stayed with what you would call billet families.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been very, very blessed. But it is a leap of faith when you show up at the door and you've never met, and and there's many billet families within Minnesota that have taken people from juniors on as well. So they're a huge, huge part of that hockey world. And, that's someone that could be part of this Hockey Mom contest that we're trying to get people to be a part of, because they live it just the same as the moms that bring them up when they're 5 years old. So, yes, there's a lot of faith that you got to put into the billet families.
Could you tell us more about the contest? What is the competition actually?
Well, what it is yeah, we're trying to highlight, hockey moms, or, it can be dads, it could be grandparents, it could be the hockey sister, anyone that supports your, the youth hockey player kind of growing up. And we're trying to get the applications in because we want to hear all the fun stories and we want to highlight them. And we're going to do that by, there's, if you can go to the website, World Juniors Minnesota 26.com/hockey mom, and apply. And it's basically a lot of questions. We want pictures, we want stories. And then we're going to highlight on October 12th is the deadline to get that in. And then October 20th, we're going to pick 5 finalists, and we're going to bring them to the Huntington Bank Rotunda at the Mall of America. And we're going to have a little contest and try to highlight and get the king or queen, or however you would say it, for the Hockey Mom champion. And we'll have several gifts and things that they can win. But, just kind of the fun part of highlighting what goes into raising hockey players is basically what we're trying to bring the fun and bring the how much goes into it, excitement.
Well, I also have to give Hockey Moms kudos to who can get that hockey equipment smell out of their car the fastest. It is the worst. Unbelievable.
You're not wrong. It's bad. It's funny though. My husband and I, it was actually before kids, and we were traveling around for his hockey. And it might have been in the summer. We stopped, and I don't exactly know where we were, but we stopped at a rink. And I remember my husband walked in, and he went in the locker room, and he just took this big old breath. And he's just like, "Oh, that's amazing." And I was like, "What are you doing?" Because there's nothing much amazing about that smell, like you said. But
you can't explain it to someone. They have to live it, right? It's like unlike
yes.
any other smell ever. Like yep, that's that smell. I remember the first time I was young, I go, "What is that?" And they're like, "Oh, that's the equipment." I'm like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, it's not a question of have you smelt it, you know it when you have. But
exactly.
Yeah, good luck with anyone that has. I know we had a couple recipes floating around there. It was basically like detergent and just a bunch of things, and we in the bathtubs, and you would throw your equipment in there, and you just kind of took a hockey stick and whirled it around for a little bit. I actually put the bubbles on,
Oh my
or
God.
the jets on to try to feed it quicker into the equipment. And then when you drained that water, oh my goodness, it's filthy. But yeah, I know that around here we had a couple like discussions on trying to get that out of there. I give anyone credit, and I like the older managers, like up, as higher they get, it is amazing sometimes like how good they can get it. And I don't know the trick, but I tried.
They got to be the ones that came up with de-skunking, like the tomato juice and whatever that does not work for skunks, by the way. Like it's the equipment managers of the big leagues, whether you're in Europe or the NHL, they came up with whatever because they didn't want to. The big boys, I got to get rid of this stuff. Well, Kristi, I also want to give your due because congratulations. I know in July they announced that you are now newly also in the Hall of Fame at UMD. Congratulations, the Athletic Hall of Fame. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is quite the honor. Yeah, I'm very honored. UMD was a huge and still is a huge part of our life and athletics.
Yes.
So yes, I appreciate that.
A 2-year starter in basketball, a 3-year starter in softball. So not only one sport, girl, but 2. You can kind of brag in your household. Like, okay, oh, you were one sport? oh, sorry, just hockey? I got 2.
Yeah, well, I can't brag too much with my husband because he also played baseball in college as well. So,
he's like, I got 2 too.
Yes, he does. Yep. But
That's
no,
neat.
yeah, no, I was actually, it's interesting. I did play hockey when I was younger, and it was my basketball coach after returning to the next day practice after I'd missed a basketball practice for hockey. I remember him saying, and it was true, pretty much true at the time, what do you have for future in hockey as girls? And he wasn't wrong. There really wasn't much at that time. So that's when I went and I played basketball, and then I actually took it to university, and then softball as well. But now it's amazing what they have for the women, and it's fun and exciting and all that. So yes, no, I was very fortunate to be able to play athletics in college. I know that. So, and very honored with the award that I haven't gotten. It's actually this week, but I don't know when this will air, but it's coming up here. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome because I always like to shine the light on hockey moms. My good friend Ellen Weinberg Hughes, who has her 3 sons in the NHL. You've heard the Hughes brothers, Hughes-a-palooza, as they like to call it. but she played hockey and soccer, and she was an amazing athlete herself. And, her sons are the first to credit her, like, well, mom taught us how to skate, so the mom athletes are getting their day now, because the support is different and the opportunities are different. So, the OG women athletes, I really like to call that out, because you bring that mentality forth to your kids as well. And we see so many former female athletes that are in the C-suites and leading ways. So that's why I definitely want to give you your flowers as well, because it's very important.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So it's true though. When with the three boys, they do look up to dad, and justifiably so. I mean, they want to be just like him and have played in the NHL and stuff. But the older they get, the more they are understanding that what moms and everyone have contributed to help them along the way. But yes, my husband was coaching, and so he really wasn't around, honestly. So he was supporting them, mentally. But yeah, I was the one getting them up early, and we had a rink in our backyard. So once we got that up, then clearing it and flooding it. But I teach the boys how to do that then as well, because that can be tough as well. But no, there's a lot that goes into being the supporters and helping the kids be who all they want to be.
Well, amen to that. Congratulations to you, not only as an athlete, as a mom, and raising outstanding sons. And am I right that Victor has verbally committed to go to UMD as well? Is he your youngest, right?
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Yes, he is a senior in high school, so that is his plan and goal. And it would be a dream for us if they were to all be able to play for a year or so together.
Yeah.
They never have played together, all three of them. So that would be just kind of the pinnacle if that were to happen. It would be amazing just to sit back and try to enjoy that moment. But yes, so he was brainwashed as well. I hate to say it, but
well, that's great though. No divided household. Let's keep our fingers crossed that Victor kind of pulls in, and makes the whole family complete there. That's awesome. Well, Kristi, thank you so much. And you're a joy to talk to. And hopefully we can talk maybe again when we get closer. But I just want to remind people that it's the Hockey Mom All-Star Challenge. Go to the website. And when is the deadline again? October what?
October 12th at midnight. Yep. Okay. And October 20th, we're going to announce 5 finalists.
Oh, okay.
And you can enter at worldjuniorsmn26.com/HockeyMom.
Awesome. All right. Well, Kristi, thank you so much for your time, and Godspeed, because it's not for the faint of heart.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate it. It was fun talking.
Okay, great. Thanks. Have a great day.